wet Tavistock evening in January. It's not the best of weather, is it? Item 1, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Lewis.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive disclosures of unregistered or other interest from councillors on matters to be considered at the meeting. If you have an interest, you should declare it now or as soon as you become aware of it. Councillor Mrs Ewing, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I declare an interest as a member of West Devon Borough Council and the chairman of their Overview and Scrutiny Committee on item 302, public conveniences, and 302, little a. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs Mayor, for the same reasons I declare an interest as West Devon Borough Councillor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Councillor Mrs Mann.
Thank you, Mayor. They were already noted on the minutes, but it was under the grants. There were 2 organisations which I was declaring an interest.
Out of interest, Town Clerk, if people have already declared interests in the minutes, do they need to declare them again when they come to Council? Because they are recorded in the minutes that are being presented, aren't they?
Excuse me, it depends on the circumstances, Madam Mayor. If it is a recommendation coming back before the Council for determination, then it would be appropriate and necessary to declare that interest and then take the necessary action, whether that is to withdraw from the meeting or not, as the case may be. If it is a matter which has been determined, so as in the last set of Council minutes, and the matter is dealt with and dusted, then there is no need to actually declare the interest because no decision is sought to be made upon it.
Right, thank you. Item 3, minutes of council meeting. To confirm the minutes of the meeting of Tavistock Town Council, which was held on Tuesday the 3rd of December. They are enclosed. So if we go through them one page at a time, we're looking to see, first of all, if they're a true record. So that's page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7. Councillor Mrs Mann.
Madam Mayor, I believe Councillor Jenny Parker had raised an issue about the minute in 274 on page 4.
Councillor Mrs Parker, please.
Yes, I did raise an issue with regard to the minute, and I have subsequently discussed it with our town clerk and come to a decision and a minor amendment to the actual minute, which I assume will be dealt with at the appropriate point.
Town clerk? No. We'll do it now.
Sorry. If I just confirm my understanding with Councillor Mrs Parker, we discussed 2 things, one of which was in relation to item Roman 2, the replacement of the word manipulation with misunderstanding, and secondly, the addition of a new sentence, so this isn't a Roman 3, this is a new, as in a new paragraph, immediately to precede the resolution, which will say, arising from consideration of the arrangements adopted, the consensus of the grants panel was that the process had provided a fair assessment of applications received.
Thank you. Okay, moving on then. I think we got to page 8, page 9. So is it your wish that I just sign these as a true record? Thank you. Those in favour, please show. Thank you, that's carried. Remind me to do that. Thank you. I'll sign them now. Apart from that correction, were there any matters arising from those minutes? No. Item 4, public representations and questions. I understand we have none. Thank you. Items requiring a decision. 5, general finance, schedule of payments to consider and endorse the monthly accounts as at the 30th of November. The schedule was available on the website to view. I understand there were no questions. No. Okay. Budget monitoring report, to consider and endorse the phased budget monitoring report as at the 30th of November. There were no detailed questions. Anybody have any questions? No. Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Thank you. Right, now move on to Budget and Policy Committee, to consider the minutes of the meeting of the Budget and Policy Committee held on Tuesday the 7th of January 2020. Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I rise to present these minutes, 7th of January, 296, apologies for absence, 297, confirmation of minutes, 298, declarations of interest, and then items for recommendation to Council. 299, which is the budget preparation and precept sitting.
Yeah. You want to do that now, please? Town Clerk first, then Councillor Mrs Mann, please.
Excuse me, just a point of clarification, if I may, Madam Mayor. Because we do have item 302A, which relates to the public conveniences, if Council is agreeable, it is suggested that so far as the recommendation, which spans across from page 2, 3 and 4 of these minutes, where it relates to item E, the public conveniences, and item G in relation to the bus station toilet, that you might wish to take those when you actually get to the later point in the meeting, in order that you can consider them in the round, because there are some implications from these in relation to what you actually have in the confidential minute for the closed session later. But that's a matter for members.
Thank you. Councillor Mrs Mann, then Councillor Parker, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to ask the Budget Committee whether they would consider requesting from the officers a little bit more information about the ongoing financial relationship that we have between the borough and the town council, because I looked at the list here and there's quite a few things where we have an integrated relationship with them at the moment, and it's changing, and I'm really not aware of what our relationship is currently, so I was hoping that we could maybe get some information about that overall, so all the items that might be involved, because there's, I think, 3 on this list that I wasn't aware of. So that was my
Thank you.
request.
Can we take that to the next Budget and Policy meeting?
If not the next one, the one after. But
yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I think Councillor Parker next, then Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I just confirm then that I have an issue that the Town Clerk is aware of on item 299 G. It's appropriate to raise that in part 2 along with the public conveniences report.
Please. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Harry Smith, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I just wanted to propose that we do move those 2 parts of this minute into the session later on. That's
Thank you.
E and G.
Thank you. I'll second that, so I think we'll do that. It's probably best to take it out. No, we'll just do that. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, so I'll carry on with the recommendations and ignoring those 2 which are going to be later. So recommended that pursuant to the draft budget considered in the last round of meetings, the Council, A, localism budget, endorse the reinstatement of a localism budget in the sum of £20,000 to support locality and community-based initiatives within the town. B, Guildhall project funding, that in order to address the funding shortfall of £18,000 arising from failure to secure a grant from Viridor, and thereby avert a consequential increase in precept funding requirements, the Council 1. Instructs the capital team to identify areas of potential savings or contingencies, provisional sum repurposing equivalent to the shortfall, and 2. Agree that if possible a grant application be made in connection with the audiovisual commitment for the January deadline, and 3. An application be made for funding for the fit out of the Visitor Information Centre for the April deadline. C. Tavistock Heritage Trust. Request for grant support underwriting to fund additional
Sorry, Councillor Mrs Mann.
Sorry, I just wanted to raise an issue that was during that meeting. I believe we also suggested that it should be contingent on successful recruitment into that role. And I wondered if that was going to be written into the minute.
Mr Town Clerk, please.
The answer is the budget is only capable of being released in relation to payments or invoices received and agreed by the Town Council. We can add that, but in practice, because it's the Town Council who is releasing the funds, if there wasn't a successful appointment, this isn't a question of us passporting the money to them. They would invoice us for the salary amount and we would pay that. No post, no payment.
Thank you for explaining that. Thank you.
So to repeat, C, Tavistock Heritage Trust. Request for grant support underwriting to fund additional THT staffing resource. The Council agree on a without prejudice basis to underwrite a sum of up to £7,300 for 1 year. Bracket, that is representing half of the estimated maximum additional unbudgeted cost, close brackets, contingent on THT as a minimum meeting the other half of the additional costs and subjects to review of the sustainability of the operation of the new arrangement after a period of 12 months. D. Council website. Provision of an improved website being deferred so as to reduce expense and the Council undertake the minimum works necessary to secure compliance with new regulations in the estimated sum of £1,000. F. Insurance. The insurance budget head be increased by £2,500, reflecting increased premium. H. WDPC dog bin collection fee increases, an additional £800 to be set aside. I. Agree to bring forward a final proposal in respect of the budget and precept 2020-21 to a special meeting of Council to be arranged after confirmation of the position in relation to the Council application for borrowing approval.
Right, thank you. We've got some recommendations there. I'll put it out to debate. Anybody want to... this was fully debated by the member of the Budget and Policy Committee, and quite a large number of other councillors were in attendance at that meeting. Does anybody wish to add any questions or any comments to any of this?
Propose supporting recommendations.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Can we have a seconder, please? Thank you. Those in favour, please show. Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor.
To continue, 300 medium-term financial strategy. A recommendation that the Council endorse the report, in particular the assumptions which would appropriately underpin a medium-term financial strategy as a basis for the preparation of a draft medium-term financial strategy for the Council.
Thank you. So we've got a recommendation. Anybody have any questions, comments to make about that recommendation? Can I propose that we adopt that recommendation? Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Those in favour, please show. Thank you. And
all the rest are for part 2 later.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. We move on now to item 7, Development Management and Licensing Committee, to receive and consider the minutes of the meeting of the Development Management and Licensing Committee held on the 17th of December. Councillor Ward, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I rise to present the minutes of the Development Management and Licensing Committee of the 17th of December. 287, apologies for absence. 288, confirmation of minutes. 289, declarations of interest. 290, Dartmoor National Park Authority. 291, town planning issues. And Council will remember that the DMNL were delegated authority to respond to the supplementary planning document consultation, which we duly did and have submitted our comments and have had acknowledgement of their receipt.
Thank you.
291B, Neighbourhood Development Plan. And I draw your attention to the suggestion that we have a scoping meeting. There is a recommendation that officers explore holding an NDP scoping session for all members of Council to better inform them of the arrangements for and issues associated with developing an NDP for the town. Any such scoping session to be facilitated by an independent facilitator who had previously been involved in the drafting and adoption of NDPs elsewhere.
Thank you. So we have a recommendation. Any comment? Debate? Councillor Parker, please.
May I ask when that report is likely to be ready, please?
Town Clerk, please.
I would anticipate that shortly after Council adopts this, assuming that it does adopt it, we will be in a position to make contact. We've made some preliminary inquiries, so it would then be a matter for us identifying the availability of a suitably skilled person in order to be able to do it. But we do have somewhere we're going to try first of all, and if that is successful, then hopefully we'll be able to move shortly. If not, it'll take a little bit longer, because we do want someone who's taken more than one plan successfully through the stages in order that they can bring to bear their experience of doing it, rather than someone who is currently working on plans but hasn't necessarily been all the way through.
Thank you. Councillor Parker.
If I may just ask a supplementary then, please. Would it be helpful? Personally, I think it would be helpful, because neighbourhood plans are partnerships between the local authority, the local authorities, the business community and our residential community. Would it be helpful to invite a representative from each of some of the main groups in town to attend that, to listen to the presentation and get an idea of the scope of what we're all getting into?
I think that's very much a matter for members. When the discussion was held at the committee, the feeling was that it would be appropriate for members to have an initial session which would enable them to identify, if you like, the governance arrangements, how they might start with the end in mind, what the organisational parameters were, which would then provide an opportunity for a further session, which would be the one which would be about community engagement, community involvement, and that would, at that stage, that was envisaged to be the point at which other organisations, other stakeholders might actually come into play. This is really about providing a level of assurance to all members of council that they have a common level of understanding as to what a neighbourhood development plan might be. This is less about the plan than about what are the organisational implications, the commitments and the expectations that you might have as members about what's done, how it's done, how long it's going to take, what commitments required from you individually, collectively, financially, so that you can answer all those questions, and that then puts you in a place whereby you can then engage with the public and stakeholders around what to do and how, when you've clarified those thoughts and everyone is, if you like, at the same level of understanding as to how the process operates.
Okay, thank you. So we've got a recommendation. Any other questions, comments about it? Right, can I propose that we adopt that recommendation, please? Can I have a seconder? Thank you. Those in favour, please show. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 291C, tree planting at Churchill Retirement Living, Plymouth Road. 291D, appeal start notification. 292, general correspondence. 293, urgent business brought forward. 294, planning decisions and applications. A, planning decisions. B, new planning applications. And there is a recommendation that the views of the Town Council, as listed in Appendix B, be passed to the local planning authority for consideration.
Thank you. I'll propose that. Have a seconder, please. Those in favour, please show. Thank you. Development, Management and Licensing Committee, Monday the 13th of January, please, Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 305, apologies for absence. 306, confirmation of minutes. 307, declarations of interest. 308, Dartmoor National Park Authority. 309, town planning issues. A, licensing application. B, new premises license application. 310, general correspondence. 311, urgent business brought forward. 312, planning decisions and applications. A, planning decisions by West Devon Borough Council. B, planning applications to West Devon Borough Council. And the recommended that the views of the Town Council, as listed in Appendix B, be passed to the local planning authority for consideration.
Thank you. I will propose that. Do I have a seconder, please? Those in favour, please show. Thank you very much. That's carried. Move on now to item 8, service reports. To receive for information the following service reports. General Manager, oral update, please. Welcome back, Wayne.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
I'll keep it brief. I'll touch on the Guildhall refurbishment first. We are currently to budget and programme with that contract, even though we've got the issues in relation to what was discussed earlier about from the budget policy around the financial shortfall, which we're looking into due to the Viridor grant. There's that area, and one other area that we're considering at the moment, which is a slight challenge, which relates to a new opening, which needs to go into the old magistrate's robing room, where we found an old fireplace under the plaster work, and we are having a meeting with Historic England and Graham Lawrence from West Owen Borough Council on Thursday to come up with some solutions of how to rectify that challenge, due to the fact that the DDA access is meant to go straight through that fireplace. Apart from that, as a whole, the contract is running quite smoothly. We just need to deal with that one issue. In relation to the Guildhall public realm, you may be aware that the contract has now been awarded to RM Builders. RM Builders are also the contractor that are delivering the Guildhall refurbishment. So there are some benefits with regards to that. The two main benefits relate to coordination and security around the site, and also complementary works in relation to stuff like the utilities, etc., that need to be linked up between the two contracts, which will make it easier to manage overall the two contracts. You will probably notice that fencing has gone around the Guildhall car park now, which means works have started, or they've taken possession of site as of Sunday. There was an article which went in the Tabby Times last week, which is outlining the main works in the programme, etc. So there is expectation that the car park will be closed until at least the end of May. No, I'll rephrase that. No later than the end of May, subject to unforeseens, etc. In relation to the Pannier Market public realm, I've given an instruction to the architect that I want that contract closed out by the end of February, or as far as we can go by the end of February. So we'll report our findings around contractual issues at the next round of council. And finally, I just want to touch on we are going to be undertaking a recruitment process shortly for the equivalent to the old works manager position, of which we are looking at advertising no later than the end of February for that post. Any questions?
Thank you very much for that. Well done. Any questions? No? Works Department, that was enclosed. Says that you're the main point of contact there. I don't know if you had any questions apart from mine. Wayne? No? Anybody have any questions for Wayne on that report? No? Can I say thank you very much? Oh, sorry.
Small question.
Councillor Williamson.
Yeah. I noticed the lamp that on the second page of the notes, quote received from SSC about the fifth or bullet down, 3,300 for a lamp standard. Was that vandalism? I walked past it the other day and somebody sawned it off, or something else happened to it?
Well, it snapped in half. So, yes, we have had some challenges in relation to vandalism and antisocial behaviour in and around the meadows, which we have reported through the correct channels. In relation to that one, we have a crime number. We are currently going through our insurance at this stage to get that specific street column dealt with. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very encouraged to see the thing about the partnership working with the Tavistock Community Gardeners and Greenwood Tree Group regarding the tree planting at Bannerwell over the winter months. There's not many more winter months left, are there? So that will hopefully be happening fairly soon. So always encouraging to see when we're planting some trees in the town. Thank you. So any other questions about that? Thank you. We note that report with thanks. Thank you. Town Hall and Butchers Hall. Thank you. Okay, moving on then to the pannier market. Councillor Mrs Ewing.
May I just ask, at the bottom of the page, it's noting and identified and sourced equipment to allow to take card payments. Are the machines in, and are they in at the Town Hall as well, please?
In relation to Town Hall, the machine will be in before the next bar-led activity, which will be the 31st of January. And the card machine for the pannier market is being installed on the 22nd of January. Is that a Monday? If it's a Monday, it's the 22nd. So the next Monday.
That'll be the 20th, won't it, I think?
20th.
Yeah.
20th.
Right, thank you. Okay, any other questions on the pannier market report? No, it's always interesting to read the TripAdvisor reports. They're always very positive, and quite rightly so. Councillor Crawford, please.
Thank you. We just had a query about the eco fair that's being run with the County Garden Show. Just wondered if you could enlighten us about who's involved in that. Thank you.
Not at this stage. I'll basically, we've got one of the duty officers who's leading on the Butchers Hall element for regards to the eco fair, and we can provide information on that, so we'll come back to you.
Thank you very much. Will that be an email to all councillors, or are you going to wait for the next round of meetings?
We'll do it through a report to all members. And
okay, right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we note that one with thanks. Right, item 9, Finance and Other Matters. To receive for information the following: report of the Assistant to the Town Clerk, which is enclosed. Can I thank Jan for this report? Can I thank everybody for coming to the Mayor's Christmas party, and for I thought it was quite an enjoyable evening, and thank you to everybody who partook in the raising money for the Mayor's charity, so thank you for that.
It was a good evening with dodgy photographs.
None of those photographs were dodgy, Councillor Smith. Thank you. I think item 4, the Royal Garden Party nomination, there's a suggestion there that we've got the opportunity to nominations are invited from past Chairman, Mayor of Tavistock Town Council, who's not previously attended this event in any capacity, to attend a Royal Garden Party. So the names go into a draw at Dalk, and then if that person is lucky enough to be drawn, then they get the opportunity to go to a garden party next summer. So it's been suggested here that Councillor Ward has named it forward, and I'd like to propose that. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you. All right.
I've never been.
Not even from the borough?
No,
no?
Never. This came up in the meeting last year when I wasn't here, and Mr. Sanders said that I had been. I have never been. Never ever. So I think after 17 years, it'd be nice if my name could go in. Don't worry,
right.
Sure, you've got Councillor Ward.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, if I nominated Councillor Ewing, then the council could vote on it, couldn't they, if we get seconded?
Yeah.
Or you could draw lots.
Or you could draw lots, Mandy?
No, just leave it to
this year.
But I would like it to be considered. It's not fair.
Right, thank you. So we've got a nomination which has been seconded. Put it to the vote then, please. Those in favour, please show. Thank you, that's carried. Thank you. Items for information only. So we've any other questions on this report? No, right, we've noted. Thank you very much. Item B, County Council's report. To receive the report from Councillor Sellis, which is fairly lengthy and is enclosed, so members have had time to read this. I don't know if there's any comments on this. I was pleased to see that the Borough Council is in the process of drawing up plans to redevelop Spring Hill for emergency accommodation. That seems to be quite a long time happening, doesn't it? Because that was started to be talked about when the hotel plan was being done. Sorry, Councillor Parker.
I don't know where to make this comment, so I'll make it against Debo's. Just to say, I'm disappointed that yet again we don't have a written report from our West Devon Borough Council colleagues, and I feel that as an organisation we're beginning to get out of touch with them again.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Mrs Ewing.
I was going to say at that point where it came up that today at the Overview and Scrutiny Committee we had officers from Devon County Council with the Cabinet member under her remit, Councillor Andrea Davis, the A386 and Tavistock train line. We had a lengthy discussion, it was over an hour and a half, about this. We were given some figures that have been asked for, and I can let the town clerk have those so he can get a copy sent to all members. I think we're on 104 million, I think it was on today's report. So, you know, still going up.
It's never going to happen.
They have actually said it is not a plan and it is not in a programme and there is no money. But it is the only plan for a railway that Devon County are going to have. So it is there, but actually there's no plan or programme. So make of that what you will. They were asked outright whether they ever thought there would be a train. They wouldn't actually comment on that issue. Mr Black and Councillor Davis would not actually comment on that. So it was a very heated in parts debate. The bit that came up most strongly in light of their reticence about a railway was actually having a proper cycle path from Yelverton to Roborough/Derriford, because that would take traffic off the road. We know a lot more people are using electric bicycles, etc. We really tried to pin them down, and I have to be honest, they talked about one up in North Devon and the Tean Estuary, and we were saying it's not about, you know, tourists or having a nice place to cycle. This is a commuter route that is desperately needed if we're not having a train line. So we have asked them to put it to the top. It will go to the Cabinet member for cycling, which is Councillor Stuart Hughes. It's going to be taken to him, but that was about that. The other thing was, I said at the last meeting about the £5 for the council tax. That was agreed by, or recommended to go to the hub to then go to council from Overview and Scrutiny today. And yes, other charges as going. Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Parker, then Councillor Moody, please.
Thank you. Can I thank Councillor Youngs for that update? Can I then make a suggestion that as a council we seek an urgent meeting with West Devon Borough Council and Devon County Council? And I say it for this reason. The railway at £11.5 million contribution through Section 106 with Bovis is the most significant single proposed investment in Tavistock. If the railway is not to be built, then the Section 106 is very clear that 50% of the money that's been raised will go to the A386 and 50% will go back to affordable housing. And those are all important issues for this council, and I think we should be involved in the discussion.
I'm just sorry, because I'm doing this on the hoof, because it's only taken place this afternoon. Under the beaching reversal, Councillor Davis said there will be a bid going forward to seek monies from that funding, and as soon as she knows how you can apply for the money, that they will apply. West Devon, we have said today that we will work with Devon County Council to help expedite that bid for this grant funding. It is a limited pot, and as she said, there's likely to be people all over the country applying for it. So we need to have both the MPs for West Devon to be on board with this and to assist with it going forward. We've been told there is a will from the councillors that this train line should occur in Tavistock to Plymouth. And there was something else she said.
No, just repeat.
The other thing was, sorry, Councillor Parker, my brain's come back now. We are going to seek being able to amend under a deed of variation some of the wording on the Section 106s so the monies could be used for a cycle path along the A386.
Already can.
I will not answer that because the officer has told us today, and I'm just reiterating, I'm not here to get into debate on it. Councillor Parker.
Thank you. Councillor Parker's made a suggestion that we do contact the borough and the county council. Can we take steps to do that, please, Tam?
They did suggest that we have a tabby link, like the Oakley rail, so we have a tabby rail. That was a suggestion as well.
It might make sense to have a meeting, to do it at the meeting of the Plans Committee, to which all members of council are invited to attend for the purposes of that discussion.
Yeah. So if, the clerk's just, well, you say it, please, save my voice.
I was just saying it might be appropriate, if the chairman is agreeable, that we have that co-joined with a meeting of the Plans Committee to which all members of council are invited to attend for the purposes of that discussion, in order, because the Plans Committee would be the body which would normally deal with Section 106 agreements, infrastructure and such matters, if that's agreeable to you. But all members of council being invited to attend.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, thank you. Right, so we've any other questions or comments to make about Councillor Sellis's report? Sorry, Councillor Moody, I do beg your pardon, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to make a comment on the highway situation in Tavistock. As we all know, we've been knocked about a bit as a town with the road closures and all the rest of it. It was upsetting for me to drive down past the Texas garage and find the manhole covers falling in, and they were splodged, and now they seem to be replaced. So that's a positive out of that. But I'm also disappointed to see that the crossings in town, which have long been a problem in Tavistock, I call them the wobble cobbles, have been repaired, splodged, bodged, repaired, and I think this is the third time that they're being repaired, with another disruption to the main traffic going through town. On a positive note, I'm glad to see that they are being repaired, but I hope that these repairs last longer than the previous repairs. Because as you will all remember, back about 3 years ago, people were falling over, breaking their noses, breaking their arms and ribs. And I just think that it's just, if they're going to do the job, I would like to see the job done properly first time. So we've got two instances where a job's been done and they've got to go back and repair it again. But it's good that it's being addressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We move on now to item C, which is Town Hall Markets Consultative Group meeting. The notes of that meeting are tabled. Councillor Smith.
It's just a comment. I hope, if you look at, I think it's minute E, third bullet point down, it looks like we're going to auction off anything that's not working. I think it should be actioning.
Yes, thank you. Well spotted. Any questions, comments about those? Can we just note those from the consultative group? Thank you. D, Museum Trust, minutes of the meeting held on the 21st of November, which were enclosed for information. Councillor Fay went as a Town Councillor Observer. Did you want to add anything to this, Councillor Fay? No? No. I hope the heating is on in there. It gets quite cold, doesn't it? Thank you. Okay, can we note those? Thank you. Project update, to receive any additional oral updates in connection with the Tavistock Townscape Heritage Initiative Scheme. Town Clerk, please.
Nothing new on that one, and I think the General Manager has covered off the Guildhall Gateway Centre, but we're happy to take any questions if there are any, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, move on then, please. F, to receive any update from or questions to council representatives serving on other outside bodies in connection with the work of those bodies. Councillor Williamson, thank you.
I must humbly apologise to Council that I missed the Oak Rail Forum meeting on Friday. It went into my inbox for a meeting that I hadn't diaried, and it passed by me without notice until today when I checked my council in. So I will report when I get the minutes and follow up on that.
Thank you. Any other reports? Okay, feedback from members following their attendance at any training sessions. I don't think there's been any training over the Christmas period, has there? Probably none to report back. Okay, right. Item 10, to receive such communications or reports as may be submitted by the Town Mayor. I don't think I have any. Thank you. Urgent matters brought forward at the discretion of the Town Mayor. I don't have any. Item 12. Excuse me. Exclusion of press and public bodies admission to Meeting Act 1960. Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please?